Good evening, everybody. I haven't been doing TBRs, but I decided I would do one this month because I'm going to do a Grinch TBR. My Grinch T-shirt. Because I don't like reading Christmas books. There's too much pressure and I'm a slow reader, so I won't get those Christmas book done unless it's like a YA. Possibly I could get a YA book, and possibly I could finish. If I was interested, I could finish one of those Hallmark-based books. But I would rather just go watch that on TV. So I'm going to do an anti-Christmas book called Christmas TBR, the Grinch TBR. Now first things first, I'm going to show you my library books that I'm going to read. Because I think after this, because with when I get books from the library, because I don't have to pay for them, I get way too many books from the library, and I want to at least get 2 of them done by the date that I'm supposed to return them. And I end up, because of that, because I'm trying to get at least 1 to 2 books read by the due date, and not have too many books to renew, I end up neglecting my own personal library. And like I said, I'm a slow reader, so. My first book on my Grinch TBR that I'm going to read is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King. But I believe that he decided to not use the name King, because, Stephen King he's a very famous horror author. And I think Joe wanted his own reputation. He didn't want the pressure of the King name on his shoulders. He wanted to come up with his own identity as an author. Now, I could be totally wrong here, but why else would he change his name? Not go by his father's name. So, like his dad, he is a horror author. So Joe Hill's book, Heart-Shaped Box, is about this man, a magician, who is into collecting occult things, and his assistant comes across a woman who is selling a ghost on the internet. And the ghost, so she gives him, so he decides to buy it, even though sounds really ridiculous. He decides to put up a lot of money and buy it. And the ghost comes with her stepfather. The ghost is her stepfather, and he comes with a suit, and in the suit, a mysterious box, heart-shaped box, comes out of the pocket of the suit. And at first he doesn't believe that there's a ghost. He's just doing this because he thinks it's kind of cool. But then he has a visit from the apparition, and he decides, it freaks him out a little bit, so he decides to contact the woman who sold it to him. And he finds out that the woman is also the sister of this woman who he hooked up with years ago, and that because he, sent her away and broke it off with her, she committed suicide. Or at least, the sister blames him for her committing suicide. And that now she went through this elaborate measures of sending him this ghost to, as a revenge ploy. Yeah, I haven't got to the boxes, the heart-shaped box, black heart-shaped box has been established. Nothing too weird, just, except for he did see the ghost. But I don't know if that's connected. I don't know if there's any connection to the heart-shaped box, but there's obviously going to be something, because, the book is called The Heart-Shaped Box. So, like I said, I just got to the part where he saw the ghost. And he finds out that this woman is the sister of the woman he knew. That's it. So, definitely not a warm and fuzzy Christmas book. But It's interesting, and I have wanted to read something by Joe Hill. So far, I'm liking it, and I'm really appreciating the length of the chapters. Like, I recently read Dodger by Terry Pratchett, and that only had 16 chapters, but those 16 chapters were super long, and it really annoyed the crap out of me how long they were, especially because I wasn't that into the book. I just figured, there's only 16 chapters, and I was feeling bad that a lot of the books on my Goodreads were DNFs on my Goodreads challenge. And I cheat include DNFs, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that I didn't read them, because I did, I just don't read the whole book. But anyway, so I'm gonna read that one. The next library book that's gonna be on my Grinch TBR is Girls of Paper and Fire. This is one of the James Patterson Presents books. Now, I don't know if this was in a book box or if just Sam from Thoughts on Tomes was talking about the book, but of course, either way, it was her video that I watched recently that made me think about getting this book for the library when I saw it. This is about this girl in this world, the king of this world, he takes on a certain number, I want to say like 8 paper girls who are essentially his concubines. But all of a sudden, this mysterious 9th paper girl shows up, and he takes her on, and of course she doesn't want to be the king's concubine, but while she's there, she falls in love with another paper girl. And that's all I know about this book. It's just basically what everyone says. I cannot wait to read this book, and I hope I enjoy it. So, and then the last library book that I'm going to read on my Grinch TBR is Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward. Now, this was one of those books that was on one of those prize awards. And from what I heard, because of course, since it was on one of those prize awards, it was talked about quite a bit a few months ago. This is about this boy who is half black, half white, and his father, his white father, ends up in prison, and it's about him, his mom, and his younger sister going to see his father. So, and from what I gather, it also makes, the book also kind of discusses the whole issue that our main character is half black, half white, and how that makes things kind of complicated. And suck for this boy, because he's like. So I cannot wait to read this. This is, and actually books like this, it's actually easier for me to get these books from the library, because I don't know if I'll actually like it, so I don't want to spend the money, and there's no guarantee that these will be at my used bookstore, so I'm glad the library had this book. Okay, so I did have one other library, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness, but it's too long for it to be a library book, so for me to read as a library book is just, if I was going to read it, I would want to actually buy it. So the next book, so the rest of these books are non-library books. This first one I am trying to get done before the end of the month, before the December 26th to be precise, because my sister and her family are coming for Christmas, to have Christmas with us, and I want to get it done so I can send it with her to read, and that is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. So, you see, I've gotten halfway through this book. And I did mention in the previous video that I uploaded that I had already seen the movie, but that was because my dad didn't know I was in the middle of reading this book, and I didn't. So, and I just wasn't gonna. He got from the movie from Redbox, so I wasn't gonna not watch it because he wasn't. I don't think he would have checked it out again just for me. So, and it was also kind of relaxing, even though I was also a little irritated. I was like, why'd you get this movie? Now I feel like I have to watch it, even though I have not finished the book. Because you went through the trouble. Even though it's not a lot that difficult to get up from Redbox, but still, I mean, he went through the trouble and got it, and I don't know when the next chance I would get a chance to see it. So, I already know the ending and everything, but I was told recently. I remember being told by someone that the ending from the book is very different from the ending that the movie had. So, well, maybe not very different, but different. So this is about a woman who was a college professor, and her boyfriend, who's also college professor, Nick. A young woman, Rachel, Chinese American, or Rachel. Her boy, Nick, invites her to meet his family in Singapore. But she has no idea that his family is super crazy rich. So it's totally surprised when they get there for his best friend's wedding and meet his family, and she realizes how rich they are. And it's a drama. It's all about how she, there's all this prejudice against her because Rachel is not rich like they are, and people are like Nick's mom, and everyone is all like, you're not going to be good enough for Nick. And just it's this drama. It's the first book in the trilogy, so I don't know if I'll read the other two books or not, but so far, I'm really liking it. The chapters are short, so maybe I could get this done if I just focus and not let myself get distracted. But I love watching TV and movies and, watching YouTube. Getting lost in that black hole of the internet. But, anyway. So I want to read this before my sister goes back home, but I don't know if that will happen. And I have to wait until the next time my mom goes down to visit, because a lot of times she goes down to visit because it's a lot easier for her to take off, and she has a period of 8 days off a lot of times, like each month, I think, so she can, and I just got this job, so, so I want to be careful when I ask off, so, anyway, but either way, the goal is to try to get done by December 26th, so that should be also a priority. Next is, I'm going to continue with Royal Assassin, the second book in the Farseer trilogy. Now, this original series is about this boy, Fitz, who is the bastard son of Prince Chivalry. But of course, being a bastard, Prince Chivalry cannot acknowledge his son. And he is fostered to Burrick, the stable master. And he learns about how to take care of horses and dogs and other animals. And he even develops the wit, which allows him to bond with animals. But Burrick warns him that that's not good. That bonding with animals can be dangerous because then you become more beast than man. So eventually, luckily for Fitz, he is noticed by King Shrewd, who takes him in. He still can't be acknowledged as the prince, he will always be the bastard. But he receives protection from the Farseer family, because he still has the Farseer blood. And the King Shrewd gives him as an apprentice to Shade, who teaches him about being an assassin. And this is the second book, and of course, just like any other sequel, it's about the aftermath of the first book, the consequences of what Fitz has been through in the first book, his struggles about growing up and coming of age. Because it's also a coming of age story, because it starts when he's 6. I think the first book ends when he's 15, and he's 15 in this book, but then it goes all the way up to when he's a young adult. And then the third book, I think, is when he's an adult. And there's, of course, more to this story than just Fitz, being a bastard and learning how to be an assassin. There's also this, in this second book, there's political intrigue, there's this enemy, this monstrous enemy that kind of remind me of the White Walkers and how they react towards them from the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire series. But the difference, of course, is when these guys, the Forged Ones as they're called, have played a more important role in the book, or they're more involved in the story, not just the political intrigue, than unlike in the White Walkers and the Song of Ice and Fire series. So this is a really fun book. It sometimes it's slow, but it's still such a fun read. And if you're a fantasy fan, I definitely recommend getting into Robin Hobb. And it's also nice and refreshing because she's a woman. And I know that a lot of people think that because women writers can't write something as gritty in the fantasy department. They'll always write romanticized version of vampires and, girls, thinking about romance while at the same time saving the world. And it's like the way a lot of YA books are, unfortunately. So this proves that is not all female authors are like that. So the next book is actually a book I'm reading for the class. I don't think we have one more book that we were assigned, but I don't think we're going to get to that one because we spent so much time getting off track and going on these tangents when we talk about the books. That is Shakespeare's Hamlet. It's probably the last book we're going to get to. I'm already in Act 2 of the book. I know the basic premise. Yeah, Prince Hamlet, his father's just died. He sees his father's ghost, who tells him that his uncle and his wife, the king's wife, not his uncle's wife, but have plotted his murder together, and that Hamlet wants to get revenge on his uncle and his mom for doing this. And I definitely, by the way, if Shakespeare is difficult for you to read, then I recommend this version of Shakespeare's plays, this edition, Signet Classics, because it translates it into a more modern English. I mean, you still have words like tis and thou and all that, but and it's still hard to kind of figure out exactly what they're saying. But in my case, I get what's going on. Like, I kind of have an idea. And this one I was very excited to get to when I saw it was on our list for books to read. So, next, these last 3 books are, so, a lot of people read Dickens at Christmas time, especially Christmas Carol. I'm not reading Christmas Carol, but I am going to read Little Dorrit. I don't know much about this. I don't remember, from what the summary said, this guy is into this girl, but his dad tells him he shouldn't be into her because, something, I don't know, I don't want to, but anyway, so I figure I read at least one Shakespeare in December, one Dickens in December. So, and that is this one. I'm going to read this one. It's a pretty hefty book, though. And as you can see, this is the TV movie tie-in edition. Oh, I also should have put on here that I want to read Middlemarch. I want to continue with Middlemarch. So I might read that one as well. Read some of that one. And, in case our extended relatives come, and I have to leave my room, and so they can stay in the room. I'll probably bring some of these books downstairs in the little den. I'll have like a makeshift bed down there. So the next is one that I've been wanting to reread all of Kate Moran's books since her newest book, The Clockmaker's Daughter, is coming out. So I'm gonna go ahead and read. I wanted to read this one in October, because it's kind of a gothic ghost story, or it's a gothic tale. Actually, I don't think it's really ghost story. I think it's it's just because it was a gothic story. I wanted to go ahead but I ended up not getting around to in October. So I started it, I think, towards the end of November, and I'm going to officially read it in December. As you can see, I started it. I'm trying to see if I can remember what it's about. Like, it's this woman who, after her mom receives a mysterious letter from the woman she stayed with during World War II, and her mom has this really weird emotional reaction, and Edie, the woman, decides to. She comes across the house where this woman lived and decides to figure out what learned about her mom's past. And what's nice about what I really like about Kate Moran is she kind of goes back and forth between the past and the present. I love her writing style. They're just such beautiful stories. And, so the last book I'm going to read on my Grinch TBR is The Little Stranger. So this was a book I wanted to start in October, and I heard a lot about it. And I believe this is also a ghost story about this house. And so, excuse me, back. It always bugs me when I don't like seeing all the end of the credits of a movie. Sorry, I just get this really weird thing about getting to the end of the credits of a movie. I don't like doing that, and I don't like getting to the final end of the credits because it takes so long. So I just feel weird when it finally happens, and I don't like it. I just feel weird about it. I don't know. It's just a weird pet peeve of mine. So anyway, this might get for talking too much. So anyway, all I know is it's like this ghost story about this. There's a ghost in this house. Because I don't know a lot. It's just I heard that was really good. I really liked her story, The Paying Guest. So I've been waiting to read more of Sarah Waters, and I already started and read a little bit. I think the family that lives in this house is starting to lose money or something. I don't know. So, and it's a ghost story. And I've heard that, that especially in England, they will read ghost stories around Christmas time. I mean, that's why Charles Dickens, some of his, he wrote The Christmas Carol, because of that. So, that is my Grinch TBR. So, are you guys, sorry. So, are you guys going to read Christmas books, or are you going to be like me and not read Christmas books and just read whatever you want to read around Christmas time? Feel free to share on the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you like this video and are interested in my other videos. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!